Hello, everybody. Lord Magicus here. The brand new modern. We got some bands, and yeah, we got Merfolk. We should probably talk about some of this stuff, right? All right. Let me first things first. uh, let me get the bands here so we can just go over them really quickly. So yeah, standard not changed, so that's fine. Pioneer, they banned Amalia and Soaring. Both of those make sense. Amalia is like a very hard to deal with kind of combo deck because you kill the Amalia, they can just reanimate it from the graveyard with return from the ranks and stuff like that. So it was annoying, and that and Wild Growth Walker, just yeah, it's just neat 1-2 punch, and I don't know, I want to say it kind of has that Splinter Twin thing to it, where it's a combo deck that's also a decent fair deck as well. So they, yeah, there's always that threat that they're gonna just pop off, and yeah, it's not always clear that you've dealt with it, so you kind of always have to be prepared. So yeah, it's annoying. And Soren is just show and tell for vampires, and that they're not going to stop printing powerful vampires, so you may as well get rid of Soren. It was way too high in the meta, so sure, that's fine. They banned that in Pioneer. Explorer's going to match it. That's fine. But yeah, in Modern, however, we do have Nadu and Grief banned. Actually, I'm going to start a recording now just in case. Just in case the stream, for whatever reason, has issues, I will have a recording of it. So if I have to redo the intro, so be it. But yeah, so what we're really interested in is Modern, so we'll wait a minute to talk about it. Grief got banned in Legacy because Grief plus Reanimate is just really, really dumb in that format. Vintage, Urza Saga is restricted, and Vexing Bauble is restricted. Both of those cards I 100% expected to get restricted at some point. Bobble, I expected very, very soon. I didn't realize they were ready for Saga to be restricted, but it probably needed to be anyway, so it was a huge percent of that format, just Luris plus Saga, so Saga also just basically winning the game by itself by making a bunch of construct tokens and then getting Moxes or a Black Lotus off of it, so or just tutoring up manifold keys. Yeah, that's really powerful. Both of those cards just really yeah, they needed to go. But yeah, they banned Nadu in Modern. Everybody knew that was happening. They also banned Grief in Modern, so we're not going to see any more scam nonsense going on here. So that's good. I am not a fan of scam. I think this is a great ban. In fact, I said literally that when Grief was spoiled, that Grief was eventually going to, one, cause cards to get banned, and or two, get banned itself. And both of those things happened. So, you know, it was just a matter of time. I knew it, but I don't think anybody's really. It's Grief is not going to be missed by I think most players, and I think that it probably hurt attendance a lot because what happens is you get scammed one time, at an FNM's I don't want to go back and do that again next week. No, fuck that. So it's a pretty miserable play experience. So yeah, I'm not sad to see it go. It means decks like the Necrodominus deck will get a lot weaker. Scam is no more in Modern. You could still theoretically do it with Solitude, but it's not really worth that, I think, for the most part. I expect that there'll still be Solitude Ephemerate decks, but there's not going to be any Rakdos Scam that's just playing Solitude. So yeah, I think Scam is it can still go on as a regular mid-range deck. It just doesn't get the unfair I get to double Thoughtseize you on turn one kind of start. So I'm fine with that. Now the thing that people really are talking about is that the One Ring should have been banned, and it's kind of surprising that it wasn't. And they did mention that the One Ring is on their kind of watch list, but I think everybody knows the real reason that the One Ring is not banned, and it's because it's expensive as fuck. They've already talked about the ability to reprint that card, and I think that they're going to reprint it at least once or twice before they ban it. So yeah, once they've reprinted it, then they'll ban it. They gotta use it as reprint equity to sell their next product first before it eats a ban. Hopefully it's a special guest in Duskmorn, and they can use that to sell it, and then once that's done, then they'll just ban it in December. That would be ideal. December is going to be the next BNR. One change that they also did announce is that they're going to change the banned and restricted announcements to follow the like RCQ seasons. So that way, it's not going to be like it just was this summer, where literally everybody and their mother told them the day that like Nadu was spoiled, like, this card's going to break Modern. And guess what? It broke Modern. And instead of fixing it, they let half of the RCQ season get ruined. So I don't know why they couldn't have just done it, admitted up front, like, you know what, this is a dumb idea, we should do something about it now. They were worried that, no, we have to be consistent, that people know when the bans are going to hit. No, don't let the format suffer for your own ego. Like, you don't be willing to just take it on the chin. You know what? We said that we were going to ban it then, but this warrants an emergency ban, because it does warrant an emergency ban. They should be used, and I think everybody would have been a lot happier, but at least in the future, we shouldn't get a repeat of this, where at the beginning of an RCQ season, if there's a card like Nadu, they'll ban it then. So it, like, an obvious problem is not going to ruin an entire season of Magic, so that's ideal. They wrote an entire article basically explaining that, like, Nadu was supposed to be a commander card in fucking Modern Horizons, and that just ended up ruining Modern, because every product has to be for commander now, so, you know, that's just how it is, I guess. I really wish that wasn't the case. I wish that Modern could just be for Modern, but, you know, every product has to be Commander Horizons, so, you know, Commander Masters, whatever. Sure. And the flaw in their process meant that they wanted to tune and push the card for Commander, which caused it to get changed before it got shipped, and they never tested the changed version. Where have we heard that before? Oh yeah, Hogak. That happened, right? Or no, actually, I'm sorry, it was Oko. Yeah, Oko. That they changed Oko right before they shipped it, and they didn't properly test it, and then it ended up needing to get banned. So, you know, yeah, but like Hogak was another card. I think they aimed at Commander, and then it just ended up breaking Modern. And guess what? It lasted exactly as long as Nadu did. It was literally banned on the same day. So that's really funny. But yeah, I don't know. The format will definitely be better off without Nadu and Grief in it. The only question is, are the One Ring decks going to now take over, and is Boros Energy going to take over? So, remains to be seen. But that brings us to what we're doing here. So, in an uncertain meta, let's just go back to the basics here. So, we're going to run with Mono Blue to start with here. However, I still expect that either lots of decks are going to be energy decks, or decks trying to beat energy decks. So, we have adjusted our deck a little bit towards that end with some more Hydroelectric Specimens here, which we didn't play with this card a whole lot, but it's good because it directs removal away from our Harbinger of the Seas, which is one of our main ways of winning games for free, which is good. And this card is a 1/4 that can block. It's nice. Helps us put Vial on 3 and have stuff to do with it. It's also land when we need it, so we get up to 22 lands so we can consistently curve into our 3-drops. Yeah, it's nice. And also, we're playing with Kira Great Glass Spinner, which in my eyes is kind of like playing another Spreading Seas sort of effect. Because what's going to happen a lot of times is your opponent is going to search out like one basic before you play Harbinger of the Seas, and then they'll use that one basic to try to kill it. Like, they'll find like a mountain so they can lightning bolt this thing. However, if you play the Kira first and then play Harbinger of the Seas, all of a sudden one basic is not going to cut it. Because if they only can cast like one bolt, then they can't physically cast a second removal spell to get rid of the Harbinger. So the idea behind Kira is like, this is kind of a proactive Spreading Seas to deal with the one basic they get ahead of time, and then it doesn't matter what spell they cast, because they only get to cast one until like the Tide Shaper comes out and takes over the last one. So yeah, I wanted to test this a little bit, just because also there's going to be a fair bit of removal, so... to fight energy a little bit, we have Chalice in the sideboard. Putting it on 1 does shut off like a significant portion of their deck. Not everything, but a fair number of it. Also, Harbinger and Trickster can help slow these decks down. So, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I see a bot in the chat here. We are not going to be doing that. Sorry. Get out of my... You... Where is it? Sure. Man, alright, you're gone. Do not spam my chat with that kind of stuff, bots. Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna have Harbinger and Trickster, so we can bring them in against like, the energy decks when like forces and stuff are bad. Also, it will help against like the Dimir Murktide decks a lot. So otherwise, like the list is pretty basic overall. So all right, we're gonna jump into our league here. We're starting a little bit later than usual tonight, so yeah, I was trying to set up some randomizer stuff for something I'm doing on Saturday, and it took way longer than I thought it was going to. So we're starting later tonight. Hopefully, it's not going to run like more than our usual 2 hours. A lot of people may not like be here right now because this is not the usual time that I'm streaming. It's like 10 o'clock Eastern at the moment, so we're normally starting like 3 hours earlier than this. So anyway, yeah, we're here. Get our league in for this week. I have no idea how this is going to work. Nobody knows what this meta is going to look like. It could be anything, so we'll see. It's a complete crapshoot. Like, I expect that energy is probably like a really good place to start for a lot of decks, and you know, decks that beat energy are probably good. But who knows? We'll see. Probably a lot of people testing a lot of things. So, all right, we're on the play. We have a land. That's not really good. I want more than one land. I guess this is okay. It's not great, but we're gonna keep it. We'll put Mutavault in the bottom. We'll play Island and pass. And hopefully he'll play Tideshaper and shut off whatever their land is here. Arboreal Grazer. Okay, so this is probably Titan. Okay, well, we're definitely going to blow up that Saga. Unfortunately, I do need to cast this because I do not want Saga being a thing. Don't want them getting their stupid amulet off of that. Explore, okay. We have Flare of Denial that we can use, so... Island would be very, very good this turn, so we can play a Lord and our Vial. That's not ideal. Alright, I guess I'm just going to play Vial and pass here. I have to get this, yeah, I don't really have another choice. Like, attacking with Mutavault's not really going to get me anywhere. I need to, like, start getting this ticked up, so... Maybe if we find another land, we'll probably drop Svyelun next turn. Yeah, well, we have to counter this. We are not beating a 1 ring right now from 20. Okay. Pass. Hopefully they don't have another one, because if they have another one, we're fucked. I only have 2 Mutavaults in my deck. I put one of them on the bottom, and then, of course, it's the other one that's, like, mana scoring us right now on 22 lands. Okay. Well, that's a good sign. That means probably... Oh, that's not a good sign. Mill 3 cards. Oh, it gets a bunch of lands back from their graveyard, so it gets, like, all the Urza Sagas. Okay, Svyelun, you get out here. We're gonna need you. Probably too late. We need to try to draw some Forces or Harbinger of the Seas before, like, they really get going. Oof, fuck, that's bad. Leave it on 2, because we can... Yeah, that's probably relevant. Attack with the Svyelun, just to draw the card. I guess there's some... Well, if I really need to use the Hexcatcher, I can use it off the Vial. So we'll just put the other Lord of Atlantis in play, because if not, at least we can attack them for a lot. Hopefully they don't have another One Ring. That's not a good sign. Okay. If they have prime time, they have prime time. There's nothing I can really do about it. Yeah, that's bad. Thing is, like, they don't kill us this turn. We're actually pretty close to just like killing them. Well, that's Lotus Field. Oh god. Alright, they have basically infinite mana now. Why did they get 4 triggers off of this? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yes, because they put 2 lands in play. So yeah, 2 lands, 4 triggers. So they have like a bajillion mana here. I'm assuming they have like another Primeval Titan. They returned Otawara back to their hand. So I guess what they're gonna use Otawara to bounce Primeval Titan back to their hand and then cast it again. I think we're probably dead. Our hand was very slow for this. Like, this Mutavault really fucked us hard. I needed to be able to pressure them way more than this. That doesn't seem like that's good enough. Do they just have another Titan? Oh, is this a combo here? Do they just, like, get, like, infinite mana here? Whatever. They can waste their time with this. You want to play the deck, you can click the cards. Alright, I think I see what's going on here. This becomes a copy of this. This returns this back to their hand. Yeah, it makes a bajillion mana like that. Okay, neat. Yeah, the Lotus Field lets them sacrifice it, I guess. They can keep doing this. So, what's your plan there? I'm not just gonna concede to you having a lot of mana. You have to actually, like, do something with it. I guess their plan is they're just going to bounce everything I control back to my hand. Again, I'm fine with making them just waste their time. Yeah, imagine choosing a deck to play that. You mean like Nadu? Yeah, weird, huh? If he wants to use up all of his time with this, then that's fine. Whatever. So his plan is to go through really convoluted land loops to just try to bounce my permanents back to my hand. That's all he can do. As far as I guess he theoretically could at some point here make Primeval Titan get haste and attack once he has a desirable enough amount of mana with the Lotus Field. Which it's really weird to me that he's choosing to do it like this because you probably could just attack with the Titan, right? Get like the Teleria West and the Growth Chamber so we can get Summoner's Pact, get the Dryad, and then use the Dryad with this combo to they should be able to, I think, Otawara back Titan to his hand, get the Valakut at some point. Like, there is a much more direct way of going about this. Yeah, we get to bring in Subtlety and Spreading Seas for this, so. That's pretty much what we want. Like, knowing this is also Amulet Titan, we can keep a much better. We can keep a much better hand for this too. Yeah, like our hand this game really sucked. We had to like mulligan, and then we still had to keep a Mutavault hand that we just didn't get the second blue source until way too late. Okay, there's the Summoner's Pact. He's used like almost 10 minutes of his time at this point just for this. Here's the thing: if he has to do this in like a game 3, he might not. He might run out of time. So it's not pointless making him go through the motions with this. Like, this is taking him like a really long time to do. So. All right. It's really big, so I guess what? He's just going to give this haste and then just attack. That's the easiest way to do this. Use the growth chamber. No, no. Oh, he doesn't. Yeah, this thing's already at tap, so he can just give this haste and attack. Right, he has the Titan too. Fish gameplay. What's good? I spent 2 hours trying to get like an archipelago randomizer stuff set up, which it was a struggle, but that's my Saturday plan. Is I'm going to be doing that, so it'll be fun. Night like a randomizer nonsense. So yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with it. But it took way more time than I thought it was going to take me to do that. Yeah, but you know what? That's fine. Why is he doing this? Just attack, opponent. No. Turn off auto yields. I'm gonna play the Hexcatcher. Fuck it, just waste his time. This thing doesn't have trample. I'm just gonna block it. I'm gonna force you to like do more game action so that if you want to win the game this turn, you're gonna have to do more things. I have 3 subtleties in the sideboard, which we're gonna be bringing in. Opponent has literally used 10 minutes now just in game 1, so. We're forcing the opponent to use Otawara again. Yeah, honestly, if we win game 2, like, it is very possible that he's just not going to have enough time to win game 3 like this. Yeah, we're here to chat always. What are you doing? Are you Court of Calling right now? Oh no, I'm sorry, Kessig Wolfrun. Okay, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. Every second. We'll take it. Okay, fine. You literally use like 11 minutes. The One Ring and Fish, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure that's really what we want to be doing yet, but we have to see how this metagame shakes out first. Oh yeah, I think we want the Dismember here. I don't really like Svyelun for this matchup. Harbinger is great. Kira is not necessary. And I can take out one of these specimens, I think. The rest is fine. It's the One Ring is a card that eventually will get banned, but I just don't. It's probably it's not easy for us to play it because we have to have actually 4 mana. So if you really want to do it, you need to play like Utopia Sprawl, and playing Utopia Sprawl is difficult to do with Harbinger of the Seas. Now that's not to say I haven't like looked at building lists that do that. I'm just not sure that we need to go down that route at the moment. I don't think that we want to do it in this kind of list, so. Yeah, the One Ring doesn't attack while it draws. Yeah, that's also true. Like, it's a card you want to have. Like, we could, but like, I don't know. Like, the One Ring works a lot better when you play it with like stuff like sweepers and or just like really big cards that win you the game. I think we're our strategy doesn't work as well with it, so. Oh, I started off saying like the only reason that they haven't banned it yet is because they're going to reprint it at least once before it gets rebanned or before it gets banned, and then after it's reprinted, then that reprint equity it will be tanked on it, and then it'll be like, you know what, actually half of the metagame, yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. So what about Boros? Well, we're hoping that these like hydroelective or electric specimens help us a little bit with that. And I'm hoping that Kira also helps Harbinger stick versus that deck. We also have Chalice in the sideboard and, the Tempo Bears, so it's probably not going to be good, but well, it depends on whether the other decks are going to actually step up or not, so. This isn't really that great, to be honest. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a much better hand. Just get rid of the Lord. Svyelun, yeah, Svyelun does die to a lot of stuff, so. Oh, I guess, yeah, well, that's true, but Boros also buys themselves a lot of time, because they have lots of life gain and removal, so. Vexing Bauble is turning off our forces? Sure. I'm not going to have a better time to play this master than right now. Yeah, they do have a lot of incidental life gain. Galvanic Discharge and Bowmasters, yeah. So this is probably a turn where I want to Dockhand my opponent. Oh, they put Fire Spout in the graveyard. That's probably good to know about. Let's think here. I can tap this land down, so they can play that. They'll have 4 mana, and then Hexcatcher can counter the... No, they only get 2 mana off this, right? Okay. Yeah, I think if I tap this, they only have 2 mana this turn. It'll be a little bit hard for them to do anything useful. So I'll attack with Master the Pearl Trident. Blue-black Merfolk deck helps us a bit. Yeah, that's true. Echoing Deeps. Okay. Sure. Oh, that's not good. Okay, can I kill them right now? Let's see. This is gonna be 4, 8, 12, 15. That's not quite lethal. So it's... Do I Tide Shaper them here? I mean, putting the Tide Shaper in play does mean that I have more stuff to sacrifice to the One Ring. They're going to have a lot of mana here. I mean... How's this going to work? They are definitely in Titan range, right? If they just... I might actually need to Dockhand this thing because they're going to have 6 mana otherwise. Let's see, if I Dockhand the Forest... Because then they'll play their bounce land. They'll bounce this back to their hand. They make 5. Yeah, it's probably my best bet. And they'll play the Tide Shaper just to have something to throw away to Hexcatcher in case they try to protect themselves with the One Ring. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I could always throw away the Mutavault if I need to. No, but the thing is, if I play the Tide Shaper, the Mutavault can still attack next turn, which might matter. Yeah. Okay. They're probably going to want to bounce this thing anyway. Yeah, whatever. Tap it. Just try to keep them off of 6, that's all. That's all we can do. Hexcatcher, throw away the Tide Shaper. Alright, we get there. See? The plan worked! Exactly how we drew it up. Okay. We're on the draw here. That wasn't a terribly great hand, to be honest, but we still got there regardless. Okay. We have Tide Shapers and Hexcatchers. The Flare of Denial might do something, it might not. This is not bad. I think we keep this. Well, they mulled a 5. Okay, that increases the chances that this hand actually does work. Sure, Radiant Fountain, Vexing Bauble. I don't care about that, really. Well, we're not going to be countering a turn 2 amulet, but we are going to have... we can always hard cast this thing, so... Forest cycling. Okay, that usually is not a good sign. That means they're desperate for lands. I really wish that I could counter that amulet, but sadly I cannot. So I think here I'm supposed to just turn off their green mana, because they might not actually have a way to cast anything else if I do this. Like, their plan could just be the one ring here. Oh, explore? Okay. It's not the worst thing that could have happened. Like, if we draw Harbinger of the Seas, they basically just die. And that's not a terribly good hand for them to be on. Like, okay. How do we want to do this? I could Spreading Seas this thing, but... The other option is I could just hold up Flare of Denial. And then flash in Hexcatcher at the end of their turn. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that this turn. Again, they don't have like Cavern of Souls here, so that's good. If they try to play like a Primeval Titan, having Flare of Denial for it, I think is a really big deal. Is that it? Yeah, they have nothing else here except for that? Alright, cool. We have like a real clock now. So let's see. We're gonna kill them in like 3 turns, right? So if I attack them for 5, that puts them... Yeah, I think that's fine. If I draw a second Lord, then could I kill them next turn from 13? That would be 4, 4, and 3. Not quite. I think it's worth it. Just 3 turns, hold up the flare. Again, they don't have that many cards, and so I think I'm okay with just using the flare here. Okay, well, there's the Summoner's Pact that they couldn't have cast anyway, so... Yeah, they have the Radiant Fountain, so, yeah, whatever, it's fine. Well, that's good. I feel like we've got this. I mean, Tidebinder would be, but we don't have it in our 75 today, so... I'll show the deck list again since we had a whole bunch of people come in since the beginning of the stream. So another Lord wins. I guess a Dismember would also win. Absolutely not. Stupor wins. I can actually use the Spreading Seas here because, yeah, I don't need the mana for Flare. Okay, they just gave up. Alright, cool. Yeah, they technically weren't dead here, so we were going to draw Otawara, which, okay, Otawara would have done it. We can play Cavern of Souls, bounce this back to their hand, and we win. But they didn't know that. It wasn't a lock, so... No, I think we were only attacking for 8, right? Oh, no, that's right, because the Tide Shapers get bigger because they have an island now. That's right, that's why they were dead. Okay, so, no, they were fine. It was fine. Yeah. Alright, no, it works. Alright, yeah, here, this is what we are running with today. Cool. Yeah, our pretty standard like list here, though. We're playing some Hydroelectric Specimens here to hopefully help versus the Boros deck. Being a 1/4 that like also diverts removal away from Harbinger of the Seas seems like that should be useful. Also, Kira is there to help proactively protect this thing. That and just like a couple Chalices in the sideboard. You know, just Tempo Bears. That's it. Yeah, I would be really sick if this was a Merfolk, but they probably would not have printed this card if it was a fish. So, yeah, it's a pretty standard deck list here. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. All right. Amulet Titan has become a pretty decent matchup. Even, look, they had Bobble and it just didn't matter, right? It did basically nothing to us. It actually keeps them from using their own Summoners packs, which is kind of funny. They have to, like, if they use the Summoners packs, then all of a sudden, yeah. Yeah, then our forces come back online, so... I think we're keeping this, right? They're keeping 7. I'm gonna keep this. I'm just gonna play like Tide Shaper and then figure out which Lord to play. Probably. Catacombs. Alright. Oh, Dockhand is a much better thing to play in turn 1. I'm very happy to draw that here. Yeah, I have 5 modal cards here, but 3 of them are creatures I can put into play with Aether Vial, so that's nice. Undercity. Okay, so this is probably Dimir, I'm guessing. They're playing against a frog deck, which means Kira, if we can sneak Kira into play, that would be great. Consuming Corruption. The number of swamps they control, that's pretty awesome. It's a very powerful card. How do I want to do this? Alright, let's bait this removal out here. I'm not going to give them counterspell mana here. I'm just going to take away some of their black mana. So they can't do this again. And if they, like, try to tap out to kill this thing, then we'll try to sneak in Kira. They do not. Interesting. Okay. If they, like, Fatal Push this, I can actually play a Specimen to protect it. Oh, chat's gone. Yeah, hold on. Let me bring it back up. There you go. Chat, you guys live. Alright, you're alive. Okay. Yeah, there's no reason to play into what they're doing right now, especially because I have this, so... Like, if they go for Fatal Push, I can have them kill this instead. Oh, Undercity, sure. Yeah, I had to remove chat so you could see the deck list, that's why. Or I can just flash in Hexcatcher in their turn. That's also possible. Sure. Preordain. What does this mean? What do they have in their hand? I'm guessing they have Counterspell, right? That's what this looks like to me. Let's see if we can convince them to use it. That is Counterspell. Okay. Well, that's not going to end well for you, opponent, because Kira is now going to ruin your life. Let's attack first. So they obviously don't have Fatal Push, or they would have used it here. I'm going to play this Specimen, and I think that I'm going to play it tapped because they probably have Toxic Deluge here. So if they do, then I can play both Master and Tideshaper next turn. I don't know if they play it in the main deck or not, but there is a very strong chance that that is a type of card that they're playing. Maybe something like that or Damnation. So, and they kind of have to use it if they have it. Yeah, see, look, I called that shit. How did I know? I am a fucking genius. That's how. Alright. There's Minamo. They have 3 cards left here. Alright. Alright, Counterspell, sure. It's fine. 2 cards. I don't, yes, I think Specimen is fine. Like, I like it in this deck. But I mean, the Kira was good. It did help bait out the sweeper that we kind of figured they had, so. Okay. Consuming Corruption is a really interesting and cool spell. I like it. Alright, we really need, like, Svyelun. Oh, that's not really the one. They have 1 card left and we need threats, not fucking Aether Vials. Probably going to get another Undercity if they have a 3rd. I suspect they do. No? Okay, so then it's probably just the 2. Alright. Well, yeah, they just drew another land, so... Aether Vials come in a little bit late, unfortunately, but... Alright, well, I'm not going to play into another Counterspell right now. I'm going to wait until I can tick the Vial up, and then I'll play the Lord. Okay, they've obviously just drawn another land, so that's fine. So I don't know what their last card is. Silvergill would be kind of nice, but they probably have stuff like Orcish Bowmasters, so... let's get this other Vial out. Why not? Because we want 1 on 2 and one of them on 3, so... I like how we both have Minamos in play. Oh god. The 1 ring. Oh, that's bad. Alright, they found the 1 ring. That's so bad for us. So there's no point in putting this Lord in play right now because it's just gonna... It's not gonna do anything. It's just gonna get exposed to removal. So we're not gonna dump Lord. Alright, well, I guess we'll leave this on 2, and then we'll tick this one up. Okay, that's fine. There'll be a little army in a can here. I'm going to do this now, actually. Because if they want to draw a counterspell, then they're going to take more damage off the 1 ring, so... They could just have a counterspell. Subtlety? Ooh, that's rough. Okay. Put the Hexcatcher back on top. At least we would like to draw a creature, so... They are going to draw a bajillion cards. Like, we're probably losing this game, but we got to try, so... Oh yeah, they have the fucking Minamo to draw, like, even more cards with this. This is so lost. This is why the One Ring needs to be fucking banned, because it just, like, goes in all these decks. It's so broken. There's the Psychic Frog. Okay, you know what? I'm sufficiently convinced that them having this many cards plus Psychic Frog means we have absolutely no chance at this point, so we're dead. We want these. I actually don't think the Dismembers are very good here. What else? The Dockhands are not terribly good either. I think Kira's fine. Harbinger is okay, but they do have basics, so it's not like the kind of lights out that we would like it to be. I think we need to keep the counterspells because of the One Ring, unfortunately. Yeah, Svyelun is good. I guess maybe we'll just take out one of these specimens. That's fine. We can do that. Okay. That was rough. Like, they found the One Ring before we found, like, a Svyelun or anything to try to pressure them. This is fine. We'll keep this. The problem is, like, I don't want to get to a point where I'm at 4 mana versus most of these decks. And also, if we do get to 4, that's usually not a good sign. I'm gonna wait until they crack the fetch land to put the Hexcatcher in, just in case they have, like, Stern Scolding or something. Like, they were 90% getting this anyway, but if I played this, like, in combat, there is, like, some chance that they could get Watery Grave and, like, either Spell Snare or Stern Scolding or Hexcatcher, so... Cameo? Okay, sure. Pyridine? Okay. Well, this probably means that Harbinger's going to resolve, and they're not going to have black mana. Like, they could have Subtlety, but we're hoping they don't. Oh, they do have Subtlety. Alright. Well, there was nothing we could do about it. They either had it or they didn't. Which, I think we are still putting this on top, but, you know, we just have to hope. Alright. It seems likely they have a counterspell here. So, I guess we just attack first. No, I don't want to play into this right now. I'm just gonna threaten to, like, do this. I'm gonna hold up Sink into Stupor. There's a very good chance they might play the One Ring this turn. There's also a chance they might play like Toxic Deluge, and I don't want to overcommit into that either. Preordain, sure. Well, the thing is, if I activate the Mutavault and swing, I don't get to keep the Sink into Stupor in case they cast the One Ring. That's what. That's what the other thing I'm concerned about. So I don't want to have to sacrifice my creatures right now if I don't need to. Okay, if he's drawing a card here, that's probably fine. So I can bounce it with I can bounce the Tamiyo here, and yeah, it doesn't get to do its thing. This is also one of the things we were thinking about. He probably has a Fatal Push in his hand. So how do I do this? I can, but if he has a Fatal Push, I'm going to make him use it first. Okay. Yeah, because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to flash in this Hexcatcher now. And the thing is, he can't actually Toxic Deluge me at this point. He's going to go to 1. Like, I don't think there's anything he can actually, like, do from here. You know what? You're right. I could have done that. That's fair. I don't think it's going to matter, but yeah, I guess that would have technically been better. Um, it's not like he can do anything here, because, like, look, he's dead anyway. Okay. Alright, so let's think here. So we know about Tamiyo, we know about the frog. There is some consideration for, like, Chalice. They have counter spells, though, so... I don't know. Harbinger is good against the frog. We know they have subtleties as well, so part of me also might consider this card. It's not easy to say. I don't think... Maybe we don't want Trickster. I think Harbinger is good enough because it resets the frog that it's worth keeping, because they have to... They'll lose the counters on the frog, but the Trickster probably doesn't do enough. So I would consider maybe either the Dismembers, or maybe the Chalices, or maybe the Subtleties. We have to pick one of these. We do know they have Subtlety here, so... see. Chalice turns off their cantrips, it turns off Tamiyo. Turns off their Fatal Pushes. But on the draw, it's probably not that great. It's close. Maybe it's good enough just because it kills their removal. Like it kills enough spells where it probably is not bad. They might counter it, but if that's fine, it'll eat the counter spell from their hand. Okay, you know what? I think we keep this because we have the Aether Vial. As long as they don't have like Force of Negation, we'll be okay. That's not ideal to have the second Otawara here, but it happens. Once Vial is in play, they don't have a whole lot of things that get rid of it, so we're hoping that it's going to be good. They're, yeah, they're not going to shock you. This is okay. It happens very, very rarely, but here we are. It's not the end of the world, but if we draw another land, it actually might be okay. Well, that's less okay. Ooh, rough. I think we're gonna have to discard a card anyway. It might actually be worth just playing something here just to get a card out of their hand. I'm gonna keep this one. Lord of Atlantis is the thing that matters the least, so we're gonna play that. And then if they play the One Ring, I can Violin Hexcatcher. Sure. I knew that. I mean, they probably had a thing, but we had to just do something. Otherwise, we're just ticking this bitch up to 3, and then we're putting in, like, probably Harbinger of the Seas. Actually, we'll probably put in Kira first. Okay, no, definitely Harbinger of the Seas. They're not gonna have the other swamp. I'm gonna put Harbinger into play. Because if they have Fatal Push, I want them to use it on this. Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking. I think Harbinger is actually not that bad. Especially, we're playing Chalice in our deck, so it certainly doesn't feel like it's that bad. Sure. Yeah, they got the basic swamp, so that I figured that's okay. I have to be careful because Toxic Deluge is still a very possible thing they can do here. That's good. Thinking here, if they play Deluge, They'd have to have 6 mana to do this if I play the Hexcatcher. So I can throw away Hexcatcher, Harbinger of the Seas, and Tideshaper for this. I really need to. But you know what? If they deluge me, I can just also vial in like Svyelun, and that's probably fine. And if they don't, I'm just going to vial in like Svyelun anyway. They might play like the One Ring again. Sheoldred. I think I'm okay with that, actually. This looks very much like a counterspell to me. Let's see. I can swing with both Svyelun and Mutavault here. If I attack with they'll block here. The problem is if they have counterspell, I'm in trouble. But if they don't have counterspell, I have the option of playing like Harbinger of the Seas and Master of the Pearl Trident, and I could just like kill them. Right? The other options, I could just animate Mutavault. What are they gonna do? They blocking Svyelun and what? They take 6. I get to draw a card. Like, they're probably not going to block Svyelun. They'll probably just take 7, and then they can't deluge anyway. Yeah, that is a good thought. But they're going to gain 2 life because they're going to draw a card in their turn. So they're effectively at 11 right now. They'll probably block, like, Harbinger of the Tides here. Or they could block Mutavault. Yeah, Mutavault would be a good block for them. I like the thing is I like do they have deluge, and if they do, like how much can we gamble with it? Because if or do they have counterspell, right? If they have counterspell and deluge as like 2 of their last 3 cards, we're in shit. I could just play Harbinger of the Seas right now and then cast this Master of the Pearl Trident and basically just kill them here, right? Because that'll be 4, 7, 9. So I think it's worth it. So even if they don't, we still probably just want to attack them. Uh, They shocked, right? So they definitely have to fucking have it. Yeah, that could work. They deluge. That could. We're gonna lose Mutavault and our ability to cast these creatures, though. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. That's true. That they wouldn't be able to kill Svyelun, so you know what? I agree with this. All right, let's do it. I like that plan because if they're at 4, then that means Svyelun. Yeah, all right. I like this. Svyelun having 4 toughness here with Deluge actually matters a whole lot. Orcish Bowmasters. Um, that's not great. Drawing Aether Vial wasn't perfect for us either, so ugh, yuck. There's not really a good way to get around this here because everything these are gonna die. This is gonna die. This is gonna die. Yeah. If they have Deluge, it's gonna really suck for us though. This kind of looks to me like they do. I think that's why they would attack first. Yeah, that's terrible. Well, Bowmasters was just always going to be hard to deal with, so, you know. Sometimes life's hard. I don't think that we have any good out to this at this point. They just want to draw a card here. So we're basically at 2. Well, no, playing around Counterspell, like, it did matter, because they had the 2 mana here. I could vial in the Harbinger, but I still would have to actually cast the Master of the Pearl Trident. That's the problem. If they did have the Counterspell, like, that would also just ruin us. And then we would have been equally vulnerable to the Toxic Deluge. And they were strongly representing a 2 mana card, which very easily could have been Counterspell. Oh, they had Fatal Push too. Oh god. Alright, we go to 2 here. I don't think that there's anything we can draw at this point. So, yeah, Bowmasters just happened to also work. Okay. Alright, we die. That's unfortunate. That was like a really close game, but like it kind of came down to a coin flip of like what's the 2 mana spell that they have. And we picked wrong. But they hadn't played a Bowmasters the entire time, so like it seemed more likely that they had Counterspell because we've seen them play that more copies of that card, but they managed to have it, so oh well, we tried. I feel like we probably have decent chances versus that match, so I don't think that the line that we took was necessarily wrong. I mean, it didn't work, but like we don't have perfect information to work with, so all other things being equal, play around the card that you know for a fact that they have versus the one that you assume that they probably have. Yeah, again, that said, I feel like this 75 probably has a fair chance against the deck. Like, it just kind of sucked because we didn't really have good play against the One Ring that first game, so. And they were like main decking Deluges too, so. This hand seems great. Oh, this is a lot less great now. Oh, it's Burn. Okay, no, this is fine. Like we're okay against Burn. Especially if the best thing that Burn has is turn 1 Lava Spike, we're in really good shape. Like, what are they going to do here? Cast Eidolon? That's not going to do shit. Roiling Vortex. Okay, well, we're not going to be casting this Flare of Denial, so... So they have the mana here. I'm probably just flashing in Hexcatcher. Yeah, well, specifically, yeah, this being a 1/4 and also coming in untapped, I think is great. So, all right, I'm just gonna put in the Tide Shaper and then go to my turn. Because if they Searing Blaze this thing, I can always Vial in the Hexcatcher. I think I need to also play this as a land so I can get these forces online. I don't want to take the 3. Look, they are Searing Blazing it. And it's just going to deal 1, so big deal. Yeah, exactly. Their hand does not seem very good. Actually, I could have played the other Aether Vial there. That was kind of a mistake. But their hand seems really bad. They don't like have any creatures, and then they just like are doing basically nothing here. I guess I'm actually, hold on. So I take 5 damage if I force this thing. They have 3 cards. That puts me to 9. I'm going to take 3 anyway. I may as well keep my creature in play. I don't really like having to do this, but I may as well do it because I don't want to lose the Hexcatcher. They have 2 cards left, so we're not in like terrible position right now. Like we just kind of need like a Svyelun or something to help turn this around. That's actually pretty good. Because if they play like a Swift Spear or something, Specimen can block it. And this also is effectively a counter spell to any burn spell that they throw at us. Yes, a bolt to my face can be redirected to this thing. The only thing that can't be is a Boros Charm. If they have Boros Charm, we're sunk. Unfortunately, yeah, this is not a legal target for Boros Charm, so we're actually just dead to that. Alright, that's fine. Chalice should be fine here. Harbinger of the Seas, like, sort of is okay, and not sort of is, like, not okay. I don't think I really need Kira. Honestly, Trickster is probably pretty good. It does slow them down. I don't think Tide Shaper is very good. Probably just like this. This hand seems fine. We just want to put creatures in play so that Hexcatcher gets better. Sure. Just use Trickster in that next turn. Alright, they gave us a free Cavern of Souls. Yeah, well, Burden's been struggling for a little while now, so it's gotta adapt. Like the good version of Burn is basically prowess here. All right, so they have Searing Blaze, but they're not gonna attack us with the Goblin Guide at least. So and then next turn we're just gonna play 2 Hexcatchers and hopefully we're just winning the race. Vortex is not going to be very relevant this game. Oh, that's not a good sign for them. I have Force of Negation on top of my deck. Well, life's tough. Get a helmet. I think I can afford to take 2. Like, they're basically just dead here. If they can't kill me this turn, I'm just going to use Sink into Stupor, and then I bounce their only blocker and they die. Like, it should be really difficult for them to pull through here. Not impossible. They can have, like, what, 3 lightning bolts or something like that. They have to, like, aim them all at the creatures. Yeah, alright, we win. Alright, we are on the draw here. Harbinger might be a little bit better on the draw. I don't really like these 1-drops that much on the like they're not really that good in general here, but I guess Harbinger is a little bit better on the draw. So we need to catch up and try to slow them down. This is a fucking excellent hand. We go turn 1 Vial into turn 2 Chalice, and then maybe Harbinger can just help us here. That is also not a good start for them. Assuming they're going to Helix us. Vortex, okay. This card, I mean, I understand why they're using it, but it's not really, like, the determining factor of these games, so... I mean, it's probably better than the Eidolon, but not by a lot. Not, or at least not like here, like... Because we don't have to play into it. So they didn't play a land, which means Searing Blaze is not going to kill the Dockhand. They're gonna just Boros Charm me, sure. And we just play 2 lords here, right? Um, yeah, my plan doesn't change. So he just, yeah, he's dead next turn, right? That's the idea, so. You have to kill me right now without 1-drops. Good luck. What are you gonna do? Boros Charm, okay. Yeah, it's over. Like, the only thing, he needed, like, Lightning Helix in order to try to have a chance, but yeah, it wasn't gonna happen, so. If he had Lightning Helix, I could just flash in the Specimen there, I guess. Well, no, I drew the Specimen for turn, so I know. I guess if he had Helix, he could, like, keep himself alive, I think. So, I don't know. But yeah, I'm forcing him when I tick Vial up to 3 and activating it to do the thing, so, yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, even it's, it is what it is, so. Burn's pretty good for us. His hands were not terribly good because they didn't like have any Swift Spear starts. The starts where they have like a bunch of 1-drop creatures like in turns 1 and 2, that's like the most difficult part for Burn. So, and he started with Lava Spike in 2 games. That was not ideal. Chalice of the Void is decent against Burn. It's not like lights out, but it hurts a fair bit. I really, really wish I could keep this. Like, if this was an island, this would be a snap keep. But unfortunately, we cannot keep this. Again, I have 2 Mutavaults in my deck, and I get fucked by them constantly. I hate this card so much. Why? I have 20 blue sources in my deck. It probably is energy, and it's probably going to be bad for us. Alright, I can't keep this. This is much better. We're going to keep this. What do I do here? Hexcatcher doesn't seem all that good. This is Gigantha. It probably isn't. Alright. We're probably just going Vile Harbinger and yeah. Alright. That's maybe okay. For lucky, we can like play Harbinger after Master and then just like yeah. Flare will be okay for us. This could be worse. Dockhand is actually great. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to play Specimen tapped here, so that way next turn I can play Island. I'll have Dockhand and Master to both use as Flare food to protect this Harbinger. So let's do this. I just don't want to take the extra 3 life. As long as he doesn't play a basic land right now, I think we're in good shape. Oh, if he, actually, this is probably worth flaring too. Okay, well, there's the Arid Mesa. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Don't... Oh, we got Sacred Foundry. Okay, interesting. Okay, you know what? That's great. I can actually deal with that. That means you're not casting spells for the rest of the game. Your greed is going to be your undoing, opponent. You had the opportunity to get Basic Mountain here, and you failed to do so, because you really wanted to cast your Ocelot Pride. Alright, we actually have a recipe for success now. That is fantastic. I don't need to actually put this Master in play at the moment. I can just hold up Force for this turn. Yeah, he said totally wrong fetch. Ah... I'm asking if it was a misclick. Oh, he said no. Oh, well. He just wasn't thinking. Oh, well. Yeah. Uh... Oh, I just totally realized I typed and misclick because I can't speak this language apparently, but you know. uh, Alright, well, he gives up. He realizes he's not beating Harbinger this season. Alright, well, Harbinger stole game one for us. That was good. Excellent. We needed that. This is like the only way we have a chance in this matchup. Okay, we want our Tempo Bears for this. I think we want, yeah, we want our Chalice. What do we not want here? We don't want the counterspells, really. I think the counterspells are, in general, really bad against them. And I don't really believe in most of the creatures. Like, I don't think Tide Shaper is going to be coming through for us. I think Spreading Season has a much higher chance of working. Kira's fine. I am tempted to keep in the Dockhands. I kind of think that maybe we want the Dismember as well. We can just take out the Dockhands for that. Okay, fuck it. We're playing catch up. Look, we either have to lock them out or we're just not going to win. So that's how it's going to be. All right, this hand has a reasonable chance of doing that. We have our Vial. We have, like, Harbinger to catch up. We have Dismember. I think this is good enough. They've mulliganed to 5 cards. And yeah, we're definitely going to get to Harbinger of the Seas, so... Yeah, we can totally bounce the guide if we need to. And we have the specimens to help protect Harbinger, too. That's good. Well, you should have at least one extra, so... Alright, let's see what he does here. I mean, if this thing attacks, I'll probably just play Harbinger and bounce it back to his hand, just to slow him down. Would I ever take the turn off to Dismember if they go land Amped Raptor? Possible. There's certainly an argument for that. But I think that we have so many 3-drops in our hand that we really just want to deploy them with Vial as quickly as possible. So I think we are just going to cast Harbinger here, bounce this thing. Alright, he obviously doesn't have Galvanic Discharge, or I think we would have seen it. No, he could have it now, I guess. Okay, he does not have Galvanic Discharge. That's good to know. This is good. That means I have 2 specimens. I don't even need to play one of them right now. It was a mold of 5, so sure. Plays Guide here. I might even dismember this thing this turn. It's probably worth it. Oh, there's Amped Raptor. It's not ideal for us, but... you got Lightning Bolt with it? Okay, sure. That's fine. And he only has 2 cards left. Oh, that's pretty good, too. Alright, I think the Guide of Souls matters a little bit more. And I probably will not bounce this thing back to his hand. There's no reason to let him have the value. I'll just take the 2. I assume he's going to get another planes here, right? That makes sense. No, he does not. The greed strikes again. All right. Weird doesn't redirect Static Prison. Yeah, it only does instants or sorcery. So if he has Static Prison, then, you know, life's rough. But what are you going to do? I just put Gigantha in his hand. Sure, that's fine. We'll put Harbinger in play. Check this up. And I can always just play the Specimen to block this thing. Let's see what he does here. Could have Flage. That would be not ideal for us. No, he doesn't have the red mana for it, so yeah, I guess we're still okay from that. Static Prison. Oh, there it is. Okay. Alright, so you can go after the Harbinger. Yeah, we couldn't protect against the Static Prison, but sure, that's fine. This is still okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The Mimic doesn't really seem like it's gonna do very much, though. I would much rather keep my Harbinger in play. If you want to kill this, you have to use way more energy for this, so... It gives you less for your Static Prison now. See, that looked great. We just exchanged a land with a removal spell. Alright, so I'm guessing he's going to play Gigantha right now. Which we have Trickster to tap it down for next turn, so that's alright. That is fucking awesome. Alright. I don't need to use it at the moment, but... No, we're in a very good spot, I think. Sure. Pay more energy. He might consider just not paying the energy for it, so... Depends if he has, like, another one, or if he has, like, a discharge he's going to try to use. Alright, so, yeah, he ticks down energy for this. Alright, Trickster's going to tap Gigantha down. Yeah, it's true. Gigantha does pay for some color costs, so... Alright, well, Gigantha is not going to be attacking or tapping for mana. Svyelun was a very good draw for us. This is what I'm talking about. The 3-drops are actually very powerful here. Alright, awesome. That's really good. I mean, he did mold a 5, so, like... On one hand, like, this is kind of... We need to kind of get really lucky to win this, but... We are winning it. That is good. And if something bad happens to my Svyelun, I can just play another one. I'm not going to play this island here. There's not really a reason to let him know I only have one actual card. Fuck them, they're on energy. Yeah, that's right. He's down to 1 energy, so if he really wants to keep the Static Prison in play, like... He's had to drain, like, all of his fucking extra energy reserve. Because the creature land absorbs removal spells that are intended for Harbinger, and it makes our Violent 3 a little bit better. Okay, well, you drew a land, so that's fine. Alright, so we have draws that win here, right? That's definitely one of them. Alright. I have 2 Stupor and 3 of the Weird, so... Fish! Yeah, opponent just says fish. Alright. There we go. That's it. That's what it took to beat energy. We needed him to get greedy with his lands in game 1 and to mold a 5 in game 2. But you know what? We're going to take it. Fuck him. No, but not fuck him. Our opponent was nice, so... He did not salt off or anything, so you got to give him respect. We've seen people salt off before, and yeah, that gets fun. You know, I respect that. You know, he wasn't like talking shit or anything in the chat. It's like, oh well, you only won because I'm old enough now. None of that. So good on him. People making fish jokes is the equivalent of your opponent saying, Tron, 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 and you turn 3 card them. Should have been playing more Spreading Seas in your deck. Then they wouldn't turn 3 card you. Yeah. You know what? Here, hold on. Just because there are some people who may have joined and haven't seen it. Yeah, this is what our deck list looks like here. So we're on 2 Sink into Stupor, and we have 3 of the Specimen here. So, yeah, and we also have 2 Kiras. My idea here is that Harbinger of the Seas is the thing that gives us the most amount of free wins. So I'm just trying to, like, 1, make our vials on 3 a lot better too. We have effectively 22 lands now, so we're playing an extra copy of like a bolt land, but it's also like we have 22 lands in total, and 3, yeah, like I said, this is kind of like a proactive protection for Harbinger because it's our free win. So this acts kind of like a spreading seas, but we play this first and then we play Harbinger, so it's nice. Force our opponent to need a sweeper in order to get through. And I like having Cavern more than Mutavault. Look, I have 2 Mutavaults, and like twice now this league, Mutavault has screwed me. I can't believe, like, I swear, it happens to me like an unearthly amount of times. It's just not fair. The thing is, like, when you play Harbinger of the Seas, your opponent might have one basic land, but if you play the Kira first and then play Harbinger, that one land is only going to cast 1 removal spell, and then they're not going to have 2 to get through the shield. So that's the idea. Kira is kind of like a Chalice that we can play on a stick. Well, we're bringing in Chalice against Boros Energy just because turning off their one... All of their removal costs 1 mana, so if we can turn off their removal, it also hits a fair number of their threats. We turn off the stuff on 1, we actually have a fighting chance. That's the ideal here. Because I don't think that we're going to beat them in a fair game of Magic, so the only way that we have is we either have to lock out their mana or lock out their spells. Or both. Like, that's the idea. Play all the cards that prevent them from actually being able to play the game. Because otherwise, if they can play the game, we're just never beating them. It's going to be too miserable. They're going to play like... They're going to get too much value, and we're going to have a hard time catching up. And the Harbingers synergize with this plan a little bit, because then you can stick Chalice in one and bounce like their Guide of Souls back to their hand, and they can't replay it, so it works. Same thing if like they play their creature early, but then you Harbinger the Seas them, and then you just bounce their creature back to their hands, then they can't replay it. So I think Harbinger works well if that's our strategy versus this deck. And it will help against the Frog decks too, because the Frog decks lose a ton of value versus Harbinger of the Tides. This deck is Turbo Harbinger and Protect. Yeah, exactly. We have Forces to protect her. We have our Hexcatcher to help protect her. We have our Kira to protect her. Our Weird to protect her. Harbinger of the Seas is our way to win these games. That's it. We're going all in on this. This is not a keepable hand. The opponent has mulled the 6, and we are joining them. This is keepable. It's not perfect, but we're gonna get rid of this Mutavault because it does nothing for our hand here. But we can definitely keep this. Let's see what we're up against. The other option is we could get rid of one of these off either Force or Flare. That's an idea, actually. Actually, maybe we get rid of Flare of Denial here. Yeah, you know what? I kind of like that. We can keep Mutavault over the Flare. Because I didn't see like that we had 2 of these things at first. We only really need 1, so. And we don't necessarily want to be locked into having to play Tideshaper in turn 1 in order to have counter magic, so I think we just keep Force. The most important things we care about are things like Amulet of Vigor anyway. Oh, fuck. Well, there's Devourer of Destiny. Okay, well, I don't think either Force or Flare are going to be terribly useful to us here. Weird to flash in to protect someone and then flare it. Yeah, you can do that. It is kind of nice like that. The only thing that I would even remotely consider forcing here is probably Expedition Map. So, I mean, I don't think that they have anything else that they would even play in turn 1 that we... So... Fuck. Alright. I'm going to play the Otawara. If I have to bolt myself, so be it. But I really would... I want to keep this in my hand if I can. You know what? That's true. They could have, like, the 1 ring, which we probably need to keep this for. Are they going to Thought Knot Seer me on turn 2? Oh, God. It's been so long since I've got, like, a turn 2 Thought Knot Seer. Ugh, that's rough. But I need, like, I can Tide Shaper in one of these Eldrazi temples, hopefully. Like, if I don't draw another, like, an island, I'll just play, like, Mutavault and then Tide Shaper. No, here comes Thought Knot, right? No, Kozilek's Command! I feel like I'm supposed to counter this, actually. I think I'm supposed to counter this using probably the Specimen. No, because it's going to ramp them so much. I need to slow them down, not let them get to fucking 6 mana. No, we ain't about that life. I need to keep them on as few mana sources as possible, because now they're down to just maybe 4 mana on turn 3, not 6 mana on turn 3. Like, they can still cast things, but we know they have Devourer of Destiny, and I can't, like, if they play that on turn 3, I am, like, so far behind. And there's so many, like, follow-up plays that can help me here, too. Like, if I draw, like, another Tide Shaper or Harbinger of the Seas, like, so we can kind of curve into that a lot better now. Even drawing, like, a Flare of Denial at this point would not be the worst thing in the world. I assume they're gonna... Alright, they're gonna ramp and get rid of this thing, so... Well, that's not good. I mean, I have to play the cards. Like, I'm not, like, I'm not gonna win by not casting spells, but it's just as likely they could just, like, Thought Knot me and take it away. Well, they're not doing this thing yet. They're getting rid of Mutavault. That's not good. We still have a chance, I think. If we draw exactly like Harbinger of the Seas right now, I think we have a chance. That's about it. We're fucked. Yeah. Alright. This hand was not very good. Their hand was incredible. Yeah, okay. Honestly, I don't think I can beat that. Like, they have too many things in the board and we're just too far behind. Alright, I think we want, what, Spreading Seas here? Honestly, like, I think the Subtlety is okay. Like, what's not good versus their deck? It's been a while since I've actually played versus this deck. I have to check the sideboard notes for a minute. What, Harbinger? Okay. Yeah, I guess this is... I guess the other... The cat... Oh, see, this is the problem, though. Like, I don't know if Harbinger is actually, like, good against them or not. The counter spells are not terribly amazing, but I'm pretty sure that, I'm pretty sure they have, like, the L and the One Ring we need to worry about. Maybe not. This version may not. They might only have, like, the actual creatures themselves. Maybe the Dismember. Okay, let's pretend that they don't have it. I mean, it kills most of their stuff. It doesn't kill everything, but I think we probably need what do we take out for this though? I guess the Dockhand's not terribly good. We can bring in Subtlety for that. I guess Kara is also not super relevant. Alright. Hopefully we got that in. Alright, we did. Yeah, I guess we're keeping this. It's okay. We have stuff to do here, and we slow them down, we have pressure. Like, this is a fine hand. Hopefully it works out. They put all their eggs in one soul land basket, that would be nice. No? I still probably have to seize it anyway. No, actually, does it matter this turn? I don't actually know if it matters. Like, what are they going to play for 3? Probably nothing. But I can decide if I need to play 2 Lords next turn or a Lord in Spreading Seas. Honestly, playing 2 Lords might just be the correct thing to do, so it gives us maximum pressure. Getting Seas out would be helpful because it does hurt them if we can hit their soul lands because it keeps them from casting their most important spells. Oh, hold on. I forgot to put the chat back up. There we go. You guys are here. Okay, they don't play a soul land. That's interesting. Just get another forest and a talisman. Oh, this is a pretty weird start for them. Doesn't seem like a very good hand. I guess it could be through the breach. What do I want to do here? Do I play the specimen? I don't know if I want to, actually. I mean, if they had through the breach, I do have Hexcatcher out to protect us, so, I mean, we're okay. Yeah, but where would they be? Yeah, I guess they could have had, like, the Ugin's land, right? But it doesn't seem like that's the case. They have 5 here. So we'll probably just Spreading Seas this thing. Which means I probably need to leave this on 2 so I can Violent Hexcatcher, give everything Island Walk, and just hit them for a bajillion. They could Thought Knot me here. What? Okay, you know what? It's not great, but it's fine. I may as well sacrifice it because I can make them pay the extra 1. So yeah, they have to tap the talisman for this if they want to actually keep the tokens. All right, I'm going to leave this on 2. Okay, all right, we probably have to play one of these as a land this turn, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe not. Maybe this will draw us a land and we just don't have to. Okay, that's actually good. Probably block one of these. No? Okay. That's 6. All right, what are we doing for 6? World Breaker. Okay, they're getting rid of my Spreading Seas. Okay. I think that just means you die. Why would we sack it to let it just to let it resolve? Yeah, so it was gonna die, but the thing is, if they want to get their tokens, they have to pay the extra 1 mana in order to for the spell to resolve. That's why. So it's just in case, because it's also possible maybe like maybe they wanted to use that extra 1 mana for like a Dismember or something, and they have 2 blockers. Who knows? You may make them pay the extra mana if you can. Who knows? Or yeah, you never know. So you gotta try. All right. Well, they had fucking World Breaker. Oof. All right. All right. So we gotta reassess here. So this is probably through the Breach Eldrazi, right? That's which means they also probably do have the One Ring. Okay. So actually, it turns out maybe these Force of Negations do matter, and these subtleties are not actually as good. Or it's either that or the flares could also matter too. If this is the version that we're up against, the Dismember is also probably not that good, and again, we probably want to, yeah, keep the counter magic. Also, Harbinger of the Tides, or actually, Merfolk Trickster is really good against the, yeah, against this sort of nonsense as well, so we want to do that if that's really what's going on here. Okay. Do anything else here? I have 1 Harbinger. Yeah, that's probably not that relevant. I can play the Dockhand, I guess. Be a little bit faster. I think we have a better idea that they're probably playing through the Breach based on what we've seen so far. Because they played the Talisman of Impulse. I think that's the key giveaway card. Um, the new Ulamog. Well, I'm not familiar with what the new one is. What's the new Ulamog actually do? When you cast it, ward, sacrifice 2 permanents. Well, it has Annihilator X. Yeah, well, it's not ideal, but we still probably have to do the thing. All right. This hand probably gets us killed. They are keeping 7 cards. They were not. This is not going to be fast enough. This hand also probably gets us killed. To be honest, this is not good. We need. We're keeping this, but I'm not happy about this. I guess we're putting Otawara and Island in the bottom. Actually, no, I don't think the Cavern of Souls probably doesn't matter. And maybe hard casting Flare is going to matter, so probably having the 2 islands does matter. I am not keeping a 1-lander with Mutavault that might not cast spells for the entire game. That's just not reasonable against this deck, I don't think. I mean, a mulligan I think was warranted, but, you know, we just had a bad 6. It happens. We're not a deck that, likes going to 5. Just didn't really have a choice. Yeah. And this is also a hand where we're probably hard casting this Flare of Denial. I would say we do not have terribly good chances right now. Our best hope is if we find Harbinger of the Seas, and we can, end step flash in Hexcatcher, untap, play Harbinger of the Seas with Flare protection. Yeah, okay. This card is very powerful. It sees a lot of play in Pauper. Well, our mediocre 6 was also a 1-lander that was even worse because we were still not casting spells, really. Yeah, I don't think you can keep 1-land hands with this deck, really. Especially not without Aether Vial. There are some 1-land Vial hands you can keep, but definitely not without Vial, so... This is scary as fuck. If we can find Harbinger of the Seas, then this hand is shaping out really well. Oh, this is the turn where we need it. That was not it. They're about to start casting big, scary Eldrazi spells. They want to make 2 1/1s and then scry 2, draw a card. Yeah, alright. I mean, having a counterspell is nice, but it doesn't feel good. Yeah, Ancient Stirring's away. They found another Eldrazi temple. Oh my god. They're at 9. They can almost just start hard casting these things. That's absurd. We are in so much danger right now. I need Harbinger of the Seas so badly. Ancient Stirrings is still a ridiculously powerful card. Do not let anybody lie to you or tell you otherwise. Yeah. I think that I'm going to play the Specimen here. Because if I draw another 2-drop Merfolk, I can play both Hexcatcher and that at the end of their next turn. Like here, I can play Lord of Atlantis and still have Flare up. I should have played the Hexcatcher. I missed out on 1 damage, I guess. Actually, I don't know. It depends. Like, it depends on what they do here. This could also just be really bad for me. You play like All Is Dust, and I'm just like in a shit ton of trouble. Again, they have 6 cards, so if they play through the breach, I have to flare this thing. Probably throw away the weird. Oh, this is really bad for us. Emrakul the Promised End. Oh, fuck. There's Kozilek's Return. Neat. Okay. You know what? They were dead. Like, I can't beat them having the 1 ring there. That was rough. I don't know. We had, like, our draws versus that were not terribly great. I think we had a little bit of trouble identifying which version of Eldrazi we were up against in, like, the first game. So it was a little bit weird. I don't think that's an unbeatable match, but it's probably difficult. If we had the Harbinger of the Seas, then it would have made it a lot easier. Yeah, once they got to the point where they could just like hardcast Emrakul, it was just over. Like, yeah, that was not enough. I could, yeah, we have enough cards to play against them. I think it's just that we didn't have the stuff we needed when we needed it, so it was a little bit odd. Yeah, so this deck is a little, it's fairly new, right? It's incorporates some of the Modern Horizons 3 stuff, but like I haven't played against Through the Breach in a hot minute. It's been like a really long time since I've actually played against that card. So it has found like a home in this, so it's kind of nice to see that, but you know, it was a 3-2. Again, but you have to think about it like this. It was a 3-2, but both of our losses were definitely matches we could have won. Like they were within grasp. So yeah. That's usually a good sign that like we're not like getting our fucking teeth kicked in. So that's we got our money back, and like we had decent chances of like winning those two, which means probably close to where we want to be. I mean, it could also just be that like things ran well for us, and maybe the next time we play, we're just gonna get our asses handed to us. But usually, like when the meta shakes up like this, I just like to play something like this that's very straightforward and just kind of like we're focusing on doing our thing very well and hoping that, you know, the people experimenting and trying stuff are not doing things refined enough to beat it. Once the meta shakes out a little bit more, then that's when we can start figuring out, okay, what cards are good, what cards are bad, what adjustments do we have to make. But like, I feel like this is a pretty decent starting place, and I'd say like most of the cards felt like they belonged in the 75, so I wasn't like embarrassed to be playing any of them. So we only have 3 Hexcatcher. I can see shaving on it. Like, the Cascade decks are just like all but gone at this point. without grief and yeah, like living end is just not, it's not going to be a thing without grief. Like it's not going to be something we have to worry about anyway. They don't have violent outbursts, so our Force of Negation is very effective against them. They don't have grief, so again our Force of Negation will be very effective against them, which means we don't need Hexcatcher as badly. The Goryo's Vengeance deck also takes a big hit with grief going away, so that's another Hexcatcher deck where we don't really need it that badly. But again, it is something that we can play at flash speed, and I like having things that, you know, I can do at the end of my opponent's turn, untap, and then like play my own stuff. And it sometimes it can be relevant against cards like the One Ring. So if your opponent wants to try to ramp out the One Ring in like turn 3 or 4, the Hexcatcher is a good way of stopping them from doing that. So I don't want to like, I don't know if I want to cut it completely because it does still have uses, but it's definitely not like great against decks like Energy or stuff where they have, it's just going to get overrun very fast. So yeah, I don't know. It's okay. Like and it is a little bit more pressure for the deck because it adds to the lore density, so it makes the other fishes a little bit better. You can play it off your Mutavault mana, which really does seem to matter because we keep getting fucked by a brown mana somehow. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. We'll see how, again, we'll see how like the metagame shakes out for this, but this was not a bad start off to this. Yeah, like I'm very happy to see Grief gone. I hate that card a lot. I hate it almost as much as Teferi, to be honest. But I can't in good faith advocate that Teferi should be banned, but I could very much say that like Grief deserved it, so you know. Okay. So we are done for tonight. I have no idea if anybody's actually like playing or what's going on at the moment. So let's, I don't know, we'll take a look and see. See, Legacy, Grief is gone. All right, who's playing right now? Is anybody like streaming Modern that we can send you to for the night? I see a lot of like Draft, some Vintage Cube. I don't know if anybody else is playing Modern right now. I see weird. Here's Pioneer. Yeah. Oh, Legacy Thoughtlash combo. You know what? That's a deck that we've like played before, right? So we can go visit that person. If I don't see any Modern here, I don't. Like, okay, I think that's where we're gonna go. So that like Thoughtlash combo is something that's Merfolk adjacent in Legacy. So, all right. So everybody, if you're watching my replay, give me a thumbs up, please. I really appreciate it. All right, I don't ask for your money, I just ask for your love. All right, and so if you thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel, that makes a world of difference to me, and I really do appreciate it. And I take the time to always read all the comments, so I appreciate that. So everybody, thank you for doing that for me. You can find all my links in the link tree here. It's yeah, all the YouTube channel, my social media, Twitter. I post funny memes from time to time and talk about like, you know, magic nonsense. So, you know, you can follow me there. You can hang out. Yeah, that's really it. It's late, so I'm not gonna drag this out anymore. Let's go and we're gonna go and check out this Legacy deck because I don't see any Modern. Normally I send you to go see other Modern stuff, but yeah, it'll be okay. So, thank you for being here with me. I'll see you again next week, everybody. And yeah, let's get our raid ready. So, it's a good week for Magic, I'd say. Good week for fishes. Feel good about this. All right, see you later.